Costing toolkit, identify the model price. Add your service type and your care needs. Add the postcode for the placement. Add the initials of your patient or service user and add their reference number. Record the CHC band by using the slide bar, or actually go in and record the actual outcomes if required. We're looking for model price only, and we're going to look for a model price for a home that is 31 to 40 beds. I'm not going to amend my default shift patterns. This is my model service levels. I've got my default shift patterns here, and I've got my default staff to patient ratio, and I can see down here that this is my level of shared care that I'm expecting for my individual without any variation to the shared care. This is where I can come into my enhanced, and I can actually say that above the shared care I'm going to be looking at one-to-one services. You can define the number of minutes and the number of times per occurrence, the number of staff that are required and the staff type, and how my occurrences are going to work. And on this occasion I'm going to say that I want this weekly. I can identify that additional sleep-in support is required for my particular individual, and I can also specify any specific therapies that are required for my individual. I can determine the hourly rate. The systems administrator will have the common hourly rate for that particular area, and I can overwrite that if required. And I can say how many hours per week I'm expecting that to happen, and I can continue. I can also adjust my timings for ancillary staff. This is a working age adult quote, and therefore I would expect the catering and domestic tasks to be included within my standard carer activities, because this person is self-managing. However, I can go in and make the amendments as required. I can specify the quality of the building, quality of the establishment. I can actually say that I'm only looking for a property that has the national minimum standards, or I can go in and actually say that I would accept under the national minimum standards, but as a minimum I would like ensuite facilities. And what this will do is it will add a factor in for the return on accommodation for the provider. But I'm actually going to say on my one that I only want the home that is national minimum standards as a requirement. Do I want to add any specific equipment? I'm going to add some JAWS software, because this particular service user does use the computer and does require some additional software to be able to do that. I would expect the software to last 3 years actually, and therefore it will apportion that cost over a 3-year period. I then come to the summary, and the summary is an opportunity for me to review the information I've input. If I'm not happy with any of it, I can go back to any of the previous tabs. I can make adjustments to anything there, but come back to the summary, and once I'm happy, I will ask the system produce me the quote. It's going to give me the price that I would expect to pay for this particular service, and here it is. So for the fair price for service is listed at the top right here, and then the quote will tell me what the model costs that should be incurred by the provider are. And it also includes your overheads and your return on operations and accommodation. And then I have the ability to export the results into Excel and save, or print, which means I can print it to hard copy or I can print it to a file.